Okay, it's 5 p.m. on Tuesday, August 25th, 2026. We'll call this regular city council meeting to order and make a note that all council persons are present. We do have a quorum. Now we're going to recess immediately into executive session. City council will convene in closed session pursuant to the Texas Open Meetings Act, Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code for one or more of the following authorized reasons. Section 551.074, personnel matters, to deliberate the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of the following public officers or employees. A, city administrator interviews. And two, pursuant to the Texas Open Meetings Act, Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code, Section 551071, entitled Consultation with Attorney, and Texas Government Code 551085, entitled Deliberation regarding economic development negotiations. The city council may convene an executive session to receive advice from the city attorney regarding the following. A, the Alsatian Oaks Development Agreement. It is now 5:02 p.m. and we're going to recess in executive session. Okay, it's 6 p.m. Are we on?
Yes.
Okay, it's 6 p.m. We're gonna reconvene back in open session, the regular city council meeting for Tuesday, August 25th, 2026. Okay? Do a roll call, please.
Sheena Martinez, District 1.
Houston Marshman, District 2.
Nicole Schreider, District 3.
Tobin Ship, District 4.
Valerie Solis, District 5.
Bruce Alexander, Mayor. At this time, let's just all please stand for a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the Texas flag. Pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible. Y'all please stand, continue standing for Pastor Evans, please, an invocation.
Heavenly Father, we come before you, Lord God. We thank you for this day, and we thank you for all the blessings that we received today, Lord God. May you guide today's session, Lord, and may you just give us foresight and wisdom as we try to figure out what needs to be done, Lord. And Heavenly Father, we ask you, Lord God, to guide us, guide all conversations so that we may go swiftly and possibly go home early tonight, Lord God. And we just thank you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you. I like that. Okay. Before we move to citizen comments, I just want to make a reference to our interim city administrator, Mr. Leroy Dallas.
But not Dallas.
He's ill, under the weather, so he won't be joining us tonight. All right, let's open it up for citizens' comments. The city council will hear comments from any citizen or visitor. Speakers must address their comments to the presiding officer rather than individual council members or staff. Stand at the podium, speak clearly into the microphone, and state your name, residential address before speaking. Speakers will be allowed a maximum of 3 minutes for testimony. In accordance with the State Open Meetings Act, the city council is restricted from discussing or taking action on items not listed on the agenda. Action can only be taken at a future meeting. Does anyone like to speak on citizens' comments? Yes, sir, Mr. Lee.
Thank you, Mayor and Council and others. My name is Robert Lee. I live at 1314 Gentile Street. A couple of things. Overall, I'm very pleased. You guys are getting stuff done in the city. Some streets are getting done. Other stuff is getting attended to, and I really appreciate that. Little things that needed to be taken care of. A lot of them seem to be happening, and I'm sure more to come. And I can kind of sense a positive electricity in the air in a good way, that people are looking upbeat about things. So I think y'all help make that happen. So thank you very much for that. I am going to say I'm pleased that we have more of the agenda packet in the available to the public before the meetings. I think we're probably 75% of the way where we ought to be to give people everything they need. Ms. Delavan and I did a very short call around, or actually online research of cities and what they provide. And so this backs up what you're now heading toward again. Cedar Park, Bernie, Fredericksburg, Cibolo, Plano, San Marcos, that tiny city of Austin, Fort Worth, Baytown, Round Rock, Wichita Falls, Bastrop, McKinney, and others didn't get in touch with any of them that weren't giving a packet out. So I think you're moving back in the right direction. That'll give us the information we need to be fully informed. And if we want to make comments about how we feel about a particular issue you're going to discuss, we'll be able to do that. So continue down that road, and thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Hey, anyone else?
Mine's a little shorter, Bob. Good evening, Priscilla Garrett, 702 Florence. Mayor Alexander, you said many times when you ran for office and since then that you want open discussions with the citizens and no secrets. However, the email I read at the August 11th council meeting stated in part, the forced resignation of the city administrator was a significant disruption. It came to our attention. You corrected this statement during the August 11th meeting to say, and I quote, "The city administrator voluntarily resigned from the city of Castroville. I just wanted to make that point. He voluntarily resigned." If it was not a forced resignation, then why did the city council agree to pay the city administrator over $200,000 for his voluntary resignation? If he had voluntarily resigned, he would not have been paid this amount. Or if he was fired for cause, he would not have been paid this amount. If he had worked until his contract expired and it was not renewed again, he would not have been paid these funds. If this council believes their actions should be based on open discussions and no secrets from the citizens, please explain at some time why the council voted to pay the city administrator for his resignation if it was voluntary or not for cause. If it was not for cause, then the council should be able to disclose the reason for their action. This was an important decision because to the citizens, these funds could have been used elsewhere in the city to provide beneficial improvements to our city. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, anyone else?
It'll be quick. Kyle McVeigh, 307 Madrid. I've asked the mayor and a couple of council people to put on the agenda about Castroville, Nip and Tuck, and the citywide yard sale. I would like a memorandum of understanding. I've given all the information to Ms. Howe, so if you could just read through it at your convenience and then make a decision. The points that I brought up in that memorandum are already what we do, what the city does. If you'll agree to that, that would do it. We don't have to have a lengthy discussion about it. The only other thing that I'm concerned about is we have to order a banner for the citywide yard sale. The other one was destroyed in the last time we had rain, and we need to order another one, and I can't put that off too long. So please consider having it on your agenda. I would appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay. Anything else? Anyone else? Okay. Any other citizen comments? Hearing none, we're going to move on. What we're going to do right now, because I understood from our city administrator that some folks involved in these next couple issues have some time constraints. So we're going to move the public hearing for the East Side Public Improvement District up right now, and then we're going to follow that with the discussion and action on items A and B concerning those. So at this time, it is 6:08 p.m. We're going to call the public hearing of the city of Castroville, Texas regarding the levy of assessments within the Castroville East Side Public Improvement District number 2. And open it up for any public comment, public discussion. I'll ask one more time, is there any public comment or discussion about concerning the Castroville East Side Public Improvement District number 2? If not, we'll close this public hearing at it looks like 6:09 p.m. Okay, and we'll go straight to item A, or 12A, discussion action item, to consider and take appropriate action on an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Castroville, Texas, accepting and approving a service and assessment plan and improvement area number 1 assessment roll for the Castroville East Side Public Improvement District number 2, making a finding of special benefit to the property and improvement area number 1 of the district, levying assessments against property within improvement area number 1 of the district, and establishing a lien on such property, providing for the method of assessment and the payment of the assessments in accordance with Chapter 372 Texas Local Government Code as amended, providing penalties and interest on delinquent assessments, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. Council, you have before you
An updated version.
the ordinance. Which one is this?
Well, it
one?
happens to be, I tried to put them in order, but I didn't. This one's 26
20?
-021.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
This would be ordinance number 2026-021. I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, please read the whole, here, on this document, excuse me, on the black,
Yes. The whole thing.
the black, the bold, what's in bold on top, please.
An ordinance of the city council of the city. Unlock your iPhone.
Sorry, I hate those things. It was mine. Okay, please go ahead.
Are you ready?
Yes, please go ahead.
An ordinance of the city council of the city of Castroville, Texas, accepting and approving a service assessment plan, area number 1, assessment role for the Castroville East Side Public Improvement District number 2, making a finding of special benefit to the property improvement area number 1 of the district, levying assessments against property within improvement area number 1 of the district, and the establishing of a lien on such property, providing for the method of assessment and the payment of the assessments in accordance with Chapter 372, Texas Code of Government Code. As amended, providing penalties and interest on delinquent assessments, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and second on the ordinance, city council accepting and approving a service and assessment plan and improvement area assessment role for the Castroville East Side Public Improvement District number 2, making a finding of special benefit to the property in improvement area number 1 of the district, levying assessments against property within improvement area number 1 of the district, and establishing a lien on such property, providing for the method of assessment and the payment of the assessments in accordance with Chapter 372, Texas Local Government Code as amended, providing penalties and interest on delinquent assessments, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, let's move on to item B. To consider and take appropriate action on an ordinance of the city council of the city of Castroville, Texas, authorizing the issuance of the city of Castroville, Texas special assessment revenue bonds. 6, Castroville East Side Public Improvement District number 2, improvement area number 1 project, approving and authorized related agreements, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. I'd entertain a motion.
I make a motion, an ordinance of the city council of city of Castroville, Texas, authorizing the issuance of the city of Castroville, Texas special assessment revenue bond series 2026, Castroville East Side Public Improvement District number 2, improvement area number 1 project, approving and authorizing related agreements, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to adopt an ordinance of the city council of the city of Castroville, Texas, authorizing the issuance of the city of Castroville, Texas special assessment revenue bonds, series 2026, Castroville East Side Public Improvement District number 2, improvement area number 1 project, approving and authorizing related agreements, provided for severability, and providing an effective date. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Folks, you have your funds. I understand the PID bonds were done today. Everybody's favorable. We're all good to go, right?
Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Thank y'all. Hand that to Deborah, please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Just to make sure everybody understands, those are the PID, those have no financial impact on the city.
Correct.
Okay, part of the development agreements.
Can you hear it now? I'm sorry, he came up and said that they couldn't hear it. But, and I took the microphone off and up, back up, but all this is on.
So,
So I don't, and that's on.
Blue lights?
I know, and that's why I'm like, everything shows to be on.
can you hear me? Okay,
Oh. Well, I was to say it's on YouTube and Facebook.
but I carry out. Okay,
Maybe she needs to turn her audio on and off, because maybe it's,
I
because
don't
that's,
know.
the microphone and all are.
Anyway,
Okay.
thank you. I hope it gets to working. Okay?
Okay.
Uh,
We going back to the original.
yes, ma'am. All right. Where am I at? Here I am.
Consent agenda.
let's go to the consent agenda. Now, uh, uh, before you go through, there's just one, I think, I read them all, but I think there's one that, I mean, we worked on a little bit more, but I want to confirm this. The July 20th, 2026, at the end, the last page, I believe, you guys got to help me here. I believe the motion was by Mr. Shipp, Councilman Shipp, and seconded by Councilwoman Martinez, and Mr. Marchman voted against it at the end. It was Ms. Schreiner and Mr. Marchman voted against it.
And I apologize because we talked about it.
Yeah.
I just didn't change it.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
those are the only two things that I see,
Okay.
but if anybody has any issues, if not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda
So moved
With the changes.
with the changes.
with the changes.
Okay.
Motion made and seconded to approve the consent agenda with a couple changes. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay. You guys know, okay, well,
Executive session.
did I go through? Okay, that also you finance. The executive session, they consider possible action resulting from items posted and legally discussed in the executive session. There were no actions and no votes done in executive session, and our folks that work on our development agreements will meet with the developers and proceed accordingly. That correct? Saying that? Okay, thank you. What I'm going to do now, where am I at?
Mayor's report.
Mayor's report. I hope your recording's working. Is the sound working?
No?
Oh man, and this was something I really was hoping the whole world would hear.
Well, I can take the microphone off of the live stream and put it back on again right quick and see if that.
Why don't you try that? Hear myself.
Okay, it's on. And I have this with it because even here, it doesn't go all the way up. Yes, sir.
Okay.
I say that, I'm sorry. I need to put y'all, there's something about it, it's just not picking up. Okay,
Got it?
he's gonna look at something. Cause I've got y'all all the way up and you should be just roaring. And usually it's lower and apparently it's not gonna pick up right. Oh, it is on, okay. So
Wonderful.
she listens to, I think, the live stream, so maybe popping that microphone off and on again, maybe it worked.
Wonderful. I'm going to give my mayor's report. I have a few pages to read. I'm going to talk about the proposed 2020, the FY27 proposed budget, the FY proposed property tax rate, and of course, then a meeting I've had with the mayors last week. Concerning the proposed budget, as required, I submitted a proposed budget for the general fund, utility fund, airport fund to the city secretary on Friday, August 21st. These are now posted under the financial documents under the city's website. All of these budgets are balanced, include no property tax increases, no utility rate increases, no new debt service, and no requirement to use funds, reserve funds, without reducing essential services to the citizens of Castroville. Each line item in the budget was reviewed with staff and city council to develop a needs-based operation and maintenance budget and reassess the increased amount of wants that were previously included that contributed to the need for tax increases, utility rate increases, additional debt services, and the use of reserve funds just to balance previous budgets. City Council will take action later in this meeting to set a date and time for a public hearing before adoption of the FY27 budget scheduled for September 22nd. The proposed budgets are posted on the city's website for public review. Please reach out to myself or the city administrator's office if you have any questions about those proposed budgets. The proposed property tax rate, I misspelled a word here. The current property tax rate assessed for properties within the city of Castroville is a combined rate of 0.5233 or 52.33 cents per $100 valuation. While this rate has been in place for the last 5 years, giving the impression that the city did not raise property taxes, it could actually be viewed as a property tax increase each year that this rate was adopted by City Council as the assessed value of property within the city and sales tax revenues increased. There are numerous calculations required to determine a property tax rate and how much the rate can be adjusted without additional public approval. However, the basic rules still apply. As property values go up and sales tax increases, the overall property tax rate comes down. The increased funds from these tax increases over the last several years appears to have often been used to support wants that sometimes turn into needs as the cost of wants become embedded in the operation and maintenance budgets as essential services. It is imperative for leadership to consider all of this when looking at property taxes and the financial burden they place on our citizens. The proposed budgets were prepared with this in mind. Tonight, I'm proud to do something that has not been done in Castroville in many, many years. I would like to announce that the proposed budget submitted for council approval include a proposed reduction in the combined property tax rate for the city of Castroville to 51 cents per hundred of property value evaluation from a no new revenue rate of 52.83. The reduction in the overall property tax rate is approximately 3.5%. and is, in my opinion, a step in the right direction in providing some financial relief to the citizens of Castroville. As the city continues to grow, I remain hopeful that future city councils will work hard to continue the practice to reduce the property tax burdens on the citizens of Castroville while maintaining essential services for the city whenever possible. City Council will consider taking action to adopt this proposed tax rate later in this meeting. On last Friday, on August 14th, I attended a meeting of 22 mayors in and around the San Antonio area hosted by the Metro San Antonio Chamber. Each mayor was asked a question related to economic growth and development of their respective cities. The question for Castroville was, Castroville is experiencing tremendous growth while preserving the character that makes the community unique. How do you balance welcoming new investment while protecting the city's heritage and quality of life? In response to this, I said that it starts with strong ordinances, rules, and regulations and that are written and updated to reflect the shared vision of the community, protect the heritage and quality of life we command. And then having the continued resolve to enforce those ordinances, rules, and regulations and manage the growth and economic development. We must never agree to development and growth simply for the sake of development and growth. We must always enter into development agreements with the core values of this community in mind and only accept development and growth that fits in our community. Developers that want to be part of the community understand and accept this. Others can take their stuff and go down the road somewhere else. More than 25 years ago, the city of Castroville planned for the growth that is currently taking place. We worked hard with landowners to voluntarily annex properties into the city's extended ETJ. We acquired our neighboring water system and grew our water and sewer service area by 4 times of the city. Okay, we tightened up our historic preservation ordinances and were actually recognized as a Preserve America city by President Bush. We visited other growing communities to gather information on what we did and did not want in future developments and worked with community stakeholders to form a vision for the future of Castroville. I often hear that our development ordinances, rules, regulations, and policies are outdated and don't meet the needs of new development. My response to that is that Castroville put preparations for future growth and development in motion many years ago with rules and regulations designed to protect the heritage and way of life the residents of Castroville command. While I acknowledge that many things may require updating and or changes to reflect current state laws, I continue to stand firm that the needs and wants of Castroville as a community must always come first when it comes to growth and development. Managed growth and development is the key to protecting our heritage and quality of life. We owe this to the future of Castroville. All right. Those are my comments. Thank you very much. We're going to now, I kind of like to do reports forward, but let's stay back on the agenda. Let's go back to discussion and action items. Item C, discussion and take appropriate action on 2026 proposed tax rates, review the 2026 no new revenue rate, voter approval, and diminished tax rate calculations. I'm going to go ahead and take a stab on this one. Leroy's not here. This is going to require a record vote, by the way. This has to be turned in to the county tax assessor. The new revenue rate, basically, if we wanted to keep it the same, would be 5283.5283. The voter approval rate, which is as much as we can go back before we have to go to the voters, we can go to 63.15 cents. In other words, we can go up 10 cents. The diminished rate would be 67.95, and that's the rate equal to the sum of the no new revenue and the amount to raise $500,000 in tax revenue. Okay? What's proposed for you here to approve tonight is to take for maintenance and operations budget, our total tax rate would be 51 cents, which out of that, the maintenance and operations is 34.84, and the interest and sinking for debt service is 16.16. Matter of fact, that's dropped down from 19 cents. And I just want to make one more point. I think I have it here. I printed it, if I can find it really quick. The rate that I'm proposing to go to 51 cents, actually, believe it or not, the same amount of tax revenue, property tax revenue we collected last year, it's $94 less than what we collected last year. So basically, it's flat. Lowering the rate, but our tax amount of money we receive from the tax is the same. So that just proves my point that if you kept it the same, it's actually a tax increase. And the debt service, there's $609,000 generated out to pay general fund debt. Anyway, I'm asking council to approve the tax rate of 51 cents.
Of course, this is the maximum.
Pardon me?
I said this is just for the maximum for the current. Y'all will do it again when you do the.
What you're doing is adopting a proposed.
Yes.
You're approving a proposed tax rate. The official action approving the tax rate comes
Yes.
when you do the budget on the 22nd.
Correct.
Because we're not increasing taxes, there's really not a tax hearing. There'd be a public hearing, but not a tax hearing because we're lowering it. But we'll figure that out as we go. But this is a proposal
For the maximum.
for the max, 51 cents. That's what I'm asking.
All right, I'd like to make a motion to approve by record vote a proposed tax rate of 0.51 cents for the 2026 tax year, consisting of maintenance and operations of 0.3484 and interest and sinking of 0.1616. The proposed tax rate will generate an additional $117,963 in revenue.
I'll second.
Okay, I just want to clear, a motion made and second to approve the proposed tax rate of 51 cents for 26 years. Now, part of that motion, I want to make sure everybody understands, the $117,963 in new revenue is for the new development. That's how much the new development is going to bring us in additional tax revenue next year. But the actual people that paid the tax rates last year, it's $94 less than what we collected last year. All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Any discussion?
No,
All right, we gotta do a record
Yeah.
run. All right, would you like to call them out there, Deborah?
I can. District 1, Sheena Martinez.
yay.
District 2, Houston Marchand.
Yay.
District 3, Nicole Schreiner.
Abstain.
Okay. District 4, Tobin Ship.
Yay.
And District 5, Valerie Solis.
Yay.
So that is majority votes.
Yes, ma'am. Motion carries. Okay, let's go on to item D. Consider and take appropriate action on setting the date, time, and place for the public hearing on the FY 27 annual operating budget for September 22nd, 2026, beginning at 6 p.m. during the regular scheduled meeting at City Hall, 1209 Fiorella Street, Castroville.
I'll make a motion.
Yes, sir.
Motion to set the public hearing on the FY 2027 annual operating budget for Tuesday, September 22nd, 2026 at 6:00 p.m. during the regular scheduled city council meeting at City Hall, 1209 Fiorella Street, Castroville, Texas, 78009.
Second.
Motion made and second to set the budget public hearing for Tuesday, September 22nd, 6 p.m. during the regular city council meeting. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, let's move to item E. Discussion, appropriate action on recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Commission to amend the CZO to include requirements for temporary storage containers and set a date for a public hearing for public comment. Brianna, do you want to touch this? Bottom line is, I know this went to P&Z. I know they brought it back. Recommendation. Maybe I misunderstood. I thought it was going to be an amendment to the CZO, so I kind of held back on that, and I was asked recently to proceed. So
It is still an amendment to the CZO, but that requires a public hearing first.
right,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay. So planning and zoning started looking at this, probably about 6 months ago or so. We don't have any ordinance language right now that prohibits or regulates temporary storage. That can include connexes. I can't think of it at the top of my head, but all those storage containers that you typically see, moving pods, things of that sort. So they started going through what they wanted to see in this ordinance that they're bringing forward to you. So first, for residential properties, they wanted those temporary storage containers to have a permit required. They wanted a time limit with a maximum of 30 days for per calendar year and one additional 30-day extension if approved administratively. The maximum number of storage containers would be 1 per lot. The reason why they went back and forth on the number of days they wanted to allow that, and the reason why they went with a little bit of a longer duration is because sometimes there are people that are moving that need that extra flexibility to be able to unpack those things or pack those things up as they need to, but it still limits it where it can't be there year long or something like that. For commercial properties, at first they did require a permit and time limits, but after reconsidering, because apparently there's already a lot of businesses, commercial businesses that utilize connexes for storage. Specifically, there's a lot behind the Haybees, up down that kind of industrial park right there. And they didn't want to hinder those businesses that already have them. So instead of requiring time limits and permits, they decided not to go through with that. Go forward with those regulations on those. They still have standards for them though, so they can't be placed in the right of way. They can only be placed in the parking lot if they need to while they're maybe offloading or doing construction work. But if those parking spaces are needed to occupy that building, then they can't have it there. They have to make sure that the parking spaces needed to operate that commercial business are there. And it can't be placed in required buffer area or visibility triangles. Must maintain a minimum 5-foot setback from the property lines. And they can only put it in their parking lot if there's no other feasible location that they can put that at that time. So maintenance requirements, so they must be in good condition. They can't be run down, remain structurally sound. So if they're falling over, those would have to be removed. They can't have graffiti, excessive rust, peeling paint damage, and they must remain secured. So people can't be able to get into those at any time, at any point. Prohibited uses, so you cannot be using storage containers as a permanent structure, so not as an office, not as a residential use, nothing of that sort. They cannot be converted into accessory buildings, and they can't be occupied for residential commercial uses. And they can't store hazardous materials. That's just not what they're there for. They shouldn't be there for. So the city administrator will have authority to require relocation if there's a public safety concern, operational conflicts, or negative impacts on surrounding properties. The proposed fee for the residential temporary storage container permit was $25. That's what they were recommending. And like I said, the planning and zoning did work through this, and they did recommend this for approval, I believe, 2 months ago at their planning and zoning meeting. So I'm open to questions for anybody who has them.
So, under the residential part, you said 1 container per lot.
Yes, ma'am.
So like for my property, I have 2 lots. That's under 1 property. So I'm allowed a container both properties?
Per the way it's rated, stated right now, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Right, but I'm just saying, because people are gonna look at that, and think it's per lot.
Yes, ma'am.
Because here it says per property.
Yeah, and it says unless associated with an active building permit. So if there's construction being done and they need to have a storage container for the tools or the materials, then it can be their wall that construction is going on, but then it has to be removed. So
But my thing is, you said per lot.
that's correct. Yes,
This
ma'am.
says per property.
Per property. On here it says per property.
Yeah,
So
but you said per lot, so that's why I was asking. I could have 1 per each of my lots.
I'll have to read through the exact language in the
Because
ordinance.
that's why I want to clarify that.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, I can read through to see if it says lot or property. I would probably say per lot because property I feel is a little bit subjective. Usually you use lot. So
I have a question.
yes, ma'am.
And Brianna, this is more on the enforcement process, not the administrative purpose.
Mhm.
I know this wasn't really discussed with planning and zoning. I know we were kind of going back and forth with the language in the ordinance.
Mhm.
But has the city established when the first 7 days began? And I think we kind of go back to like the permit process too, the goodwill of the neighbors to kind of,
Yes.
raise the concerns so that we can address it. So I know we probably won't solve that process here, but I know it's something that we need to think about.
Yeah, and just right now, we don't have any enforcement on these containers. So we're hoping that moving forward, we can, you're right, we're hoping that everybody who brings a storage container into the city limits of Castroville that require a permit have to come get this permit, and that's when that 30-day time limit will start. Hopefully, if they don't do that, code enforcement will flag it pretty quickly. So then I could be more specific in the language saying when the permit is issued, because I don't know if I would be able to say, oh, it's when it got there, because who knows when that exactly was. I don't know. That's just something we need to think about. So, yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So, you said Conex boxes, but this encompasses any kind of storage container.
That's correct. Yeah, it could be the train car, any of those conic storage pods, anything of those sorts. Yes, sir.
I got a question.
Yes.
Have we assessed whether anyone in the residential areas already has one that has been in place?
Yeah, I mean, there's been a few times that code enforcement's come to me asking if we had language for these specifically, even just the past few months. So there are some out there. And I think that there's some that have been there for quite some time. And so that's why we're trying to enforce this a little bit more.
So we're going to require them to now.
Yes, sir. If they have one already existing in a residential area, I would say that they're gonna have to pull that permit. That permit will start that 30-day time limit, and then once they have that 30 days has come and gone, then it's gonna be time for them to remove those.
I think it's fair to say that we're going to run into some residents that don't have that capability.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I would be prepared to try to deal with that. I'm not sure if we have a good grasp on it.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. That's gonna.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
I mean, we gotta do something.
Yeah, I don't know how to move forward with that. I mean, then they'll get a citation, and then they'd have to go through that process with the court system. But at that point, then it's in code enforcement's hands once the permit's issued.
And I'm just wanting to make sure that when we do this, that it is enforceable and we actually follow through with what we're doing.
Yes, sir.
The other thing is you have your statement in here for hazardous materials. In the event that it's being used for construction, what are we classifying as hazardous materials?
I don't have a definition for that, but I can look for something. But it would probably have to be in some kind of definition
Okay.
of what hazardous materials consist of.
I think I'd look into that just to make sure, because those are typically stored for security purposes for contractors. So you're going to have your small amounts of fuel, your things like that might be considered hazardous material.
Okay.
So if you put that as an open statement, you may be cutting them off a lot. Just something to look into.
Okay.
I just want to inject something right here quick is council's not approving this ordinance. Council
We're sending it back.
is sending it, P&Z has made a recommendation. We're saying, yes, we agree with you, begin the process. Because P&Z has a process to go through public hearing, and then it has to come back to us again. So this is not a fun,
No, they already went through their public hearing for this.
pardon me?
They already went through
They
their.
already did their public, okay, so,
Well,
Yeah.
tonight we will be calling a public hearing or just,
okay, do we have to have a public hearing, city council?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's what we need to do is set for a public hearing?
So if y'all agree with the language, I can make the tweaks. They've already put their input in
Got
this.
it.
So now
Okay.
it's city council's input. I hear what y'all are saying. So there's some things that I'll change, adding hazardous materials as a definition, clarifying one lot property, and then seeing if there's any additional enforcement mechanisms that we need to put in there. But then this will come back to y'all whenever we can schedule the next public hearing for this, so y'all can take action on it. They already did their public hearing.
Okay, so when it comes back to us, it'll be a public hearing and then adoption.
That's correct. Yes, sir.
Okay, then I stand corrected. I apologize. Is there anything else anybody
Yeah,
has to say on this?
where it says be occupied for residential, the state of Texas does allow storage container homes.
They do, but we are still allowed to regulate those.
Okay, because you might get pushed back on that because some people, because
Yeah.
they're the rage right now. So
Mhm.
just
We
putting
do
it out
still
there.
get to regulate those within our city limits.
Okay,
So,
putting it out there.
yes, ma'am.
Anything else? No? Okay, you've got the guidance.
Got it.
Direction.
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay. Let me get my papers right. Do this one. E, F, G, H, F. All right, item F. Consider and take action on the City of Castroville Fiorella Friday policy and authorize the Parks and Recreation Department to implement and administer the event in accordance with the adopted policy, applicable city ordinances, and approved policy. Jonah, you want to come on up for a second? And then I'm going to turn this over to Councilman Marchman and Councilwoman Solis, because I know you've been working a lot with this stuff with Jonah and such on the Fiorella Friday. So if you guys can kind of tag team each other and let us know what we need to do.
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Council. So in your packets, you did have a copy, the first round of a Fiorella Friday policy. Some of it was redlined just so that way, if there is a rebrand, we kind of called out where we needed to change some items in there. In addition to that policy, it also had a application and a hold harmless agreement. All of those documents had been reviewed by the city attorney. And really, my take on this is kind of what is council looking for outside of not having a policy, outside of we do have vendors that are already ready to go for this upcoming month. If there are, tweaks that need to be made in this policy, what are some of those items that council would like to be seen? I know in here specifically on this agenda, it does say authorize the Parks and Recreation Department to implement and administer the event. But being that this is a city-sponsored event, if council would like to remove that and just have, the Parks and Recreation help facilitate it, and then eventually send it off to somebody else if somebody else comes on staff.
For my 2 cents worth on that? What are you talking about as far as who runs it?
Correct,
Your
yes.
main comment? Well, I think I'm not going to go against what council wants to do, but I think that this should be collectively turned over to the city administrator to administer. And that's all I need in there, because the administrator has the authority to appoint a staff member to make it work. That's just,
I agree.
I like to take everything to the administrator. That way then you can go from there.
I agree. And I think
It's my opinion.
And I think with that too, one thing that I think across the board, we don't really want to give it to one department, because if for some reason this department goes to Public Works or something like that, then it's kind of, it all gets intermingled. So
Oh, I agree with you.
I agree. I think that maybe it stays under city administrator. And
Sign it to the administrator or their designee. That's my opinion.
And as far as national policy structure, Jonah, this event that the city took over is going to evolve, right? So,
absolutely.
I think the structure that you have here in this vendor policy is fine for the next month, this
Okay.
month, until we discuss further about other options and how we want the event to evolve. right?
Agreed.
The only thing I would like to see is the identify who has final authority to approve or deny vendor applications. That needs to be in here as well. Lafayette, I don't think we have, as a council, has decided the closure of Lafayette Street for Fiorella Friday.
Because of the parking issue.
Right. It has not brought up to council for decision, but if you're going to mirror what happened last month with partial closure, then that needs to make sure that that's actually stated
Okay.
in here. Because I don't want to give vendors the illusion that the entire street's going to be closed when council has not yet decided that for Lafayette specifically.
I want to make a point here that's in here that people may or may not have fully got a grasp on. But everyone that uses our right-of-ways for an event or a city facility is from this point forward required to have liability insurance greater than or equal to the city for their event or their vendor booths or things like that to protect the city from any potential liability. And that's coming through TML and through our legal. That I know the city has not always done that in the past, but we need to get things straight. So I think that was a big issue that you had with a lot of your vendors.
Yes.
And they're required to produce proof of liability insurance. And that's going to be extended out to everyone that uses our right-of-way or our facilities.
Correct. Yes, sir. Yeah, and I think that's also something that I'll have to work with Dan on. And being a Parks and Recreation department, we'll have to identify exactly the rentals that happen at the park.
Sure.
You know, do those individuals that, let's say, for example, rent the pavilion, do they need insurance for that rental? So
Yeah, I understand.
I'll get with the city administrator.
I'm not exactly sure how that might work in the park. I know it was pretty clear on the use of our squares or public right-of-ways.
For special events.
Or facilities that we have. So anyway, I just wanted to bring that up because that's an issue that I know a lot of folks are concerned with. Houston?
So, Jonah, one of the things that we should consider or work with is when we're sponsoring the ROI on the events, not on a weekly, but like a quarterly. So we would have elements to look at. We have a tax roll number now. So then Leroy can help us understand what those tax revenues are.
Okay.
Right?
Yes, sir.
And that way we can understand. And that's both vendors and brick and mortar. The other question I have is, how's the workload for you right now with executing? You seem fine to me, but I don't want to.
Thank you. No, the workload is fine right now. I think really this is kind of my busy season in terms of end of year budget, stuff like that.
Right.
And then with this new event, not having anything was kind of, but I think we got a pretty good grasp. I have a really good team, council. You've given good direction. You know, I think, and like Councilwoman Sully said, this event is going to continue to grow, whether it grows with vendors or whether it grows the policy. You know, there's items that we're not going to be able to foresee now. We're trying to, but there's items that we're not going to foresee. Something's going to come up. So this document itself is going to be a working document to where if we see things we want to change.
Right. So. And the ROI piece is we need to measure what we do. You know, and
Agreed.
It's not too bad to do it. I don't think.
No, I don't think so. And I know Leroy's not here, but he might be listening, so I don't want to add more work to his plate. But we can definitely do some type of quarterly report.
Okay. Thank you.
And my last point, Jonah, is records keeping.
Okay.
Just making sure you're keeping clear records by event month.
Yes.
Well, because
Yes.
that over time will tell us data points, which then will tell us a story, which then will drive policy change.
Absolutely, yeah. Just a little backstory. We are tracking right now vendors via Excel, but the applications, the insurance, the tax numbers, all that, we're all putting on the city's, not the city's website, but the city's SharePoint or Drive. So then that way we can access it. Leroy can access it. We can all access it, and we can verify all that information.
There's one point on that too, is there's data you can buy, it's not too bad,
Mhm.
but it'll tell you the zip codes of
Okay.
the city on those kind of events, on anything, and then you can understand.
Sounds good to me.
And we can talk that also, I can tell you where.
I do have something
Yes, ma'am.
additional. So Fiorella Friday is in District 3, and so I kind of made the effort of walking around and talking to folks who lived and worked in that area. And I think that one of the things that was really great that came out, one was how complimentary people were with you in particular, Jonah, helping them along the way, and then also being very present during the event and pretty much being there all evening. That was sincerely appreciated. It meant a lot to a lot of people who perhaps had expectations that it wasn't going to go as well as it did. And then the second part of that is, as much as I think everyone really appreciates the work that you did, there are folks who really want to participate.
Mm-hmm.
They want to be there to volunteer. They want to be there to help out. And so I think that as we go along, and it's this process that evolves, I would like to see an opportunity and like a commitment to allowing people who live and work in that area to help shape it in a way that's reflective of what they want that to look like.
I appreciate that, and I think that's something that Councilman Marchman and Councilwoman Solis, I think we're trying to figure out what is the good balance between city involvement and brick and mortar vendors, just so that way, if for some reason I take a vacation or something like that, who is going to be able to run that if in my absence, right? The other thing too, we have already gotten a lot of the brick and mortar saying, hey, we're willing to help. We can help you build the flyers. We can help you do this. We can help you do that. Again, one of the biggest things is this is a city-sponsored event, so everything is still going to go through the city. But we do appreciate those volunteers because a lot of this doesn't happen without them.
Mayor, I was going to tell you, when you were saying about the pavilions and such as that, when we rent them out, if it's not a city-sponsored event, we may have to look at possibly less insurance, but the
Right.
reason why Tim Bell suggested is because it was a city-sponsored event.
No, I understand.
Yeah, so,
I understand.
having a birthday party down there is
Right,
different.
okay, got it. And then, of course, the insurance, that when we do work with folks, the liability insurance must be equal to or greater than the city's. I think the city's what, $1 million liability. So anyhow, we work through it. Thank you, Jonah. Is anyone ready to make a motion on approving this policy?
I think so. I move that the city council approve the city of Castroville Fiorella Friday policy and authorize the city administrator and or designee to implement and administer the event in accordance with the adopted policy, applicable city ordinances, and approved procedures.
So second.
Whoops.
You want it?
I got it.
You got it.
Someone's got it, okay. A motion to second. City council will approve the Castroville Fiorella Friday and authorize city administrator or designee to implement and administer the event in accordance with the adopted policy, applicable city ordinances, and approved procedures. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you very much. Okay. Get my stuff in order here. Let's move on to item G, discussion to take action on establishing a centralized inventory of city grant activity from the previous 5 fiscal years, including grants pursued across departments, boards, and commissions, and other city functions. Ms. Solis.
Yes, so I wanted to bring this item up to council's attention because we have no central repository and our tracking mechanism as a city right now to track our grant funding.
Okay.
And as new administration comes along, we're kind of hit in a surprised manner about, the status of grants. So all I'm asking is for council support to direct staff to gather that information so that we have an actual tracking mechanism, a tool that we can look at, and it'll support our budgetary meetings as well. And give Leroy about 30 days to get the data from staff and such, and then have him brief us on the outcome of that.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, can I make a comment about it? Number one is I thank you for bringing this up. Kind of loosely discussed this a year ago, that I don't think everybody clearly understands all the grants and applications for funds that the city's actually involved in. And then what are the terms and conditions of the grants? Sometimes the terms and conditions are so strict that you may not want to be involved in that one. So, but I believe they should all be based in the city administrator's office. I just want to give you my part on that. Go ahead.
One comment I would make is when you say grant portfolio meaning defining where to submit digital.
Yes.
Well, just a centralized, here they are, what's going on,
So
who signed them, who approved them, what,
Where did they originate from? What
Right.
was our
right, what's status on?
So-
Yes.
the motion is recommended approving to direct staff to develop a centralized Castroville citywide grant portfolio covering fiscal year 2022 to 2026 and maintain the portfolio.
So second.
Motion made and second to approve, direct staff to develop a centralized Castroville citywide grant portfolio covering FY 22 through 26 and maintaining the portfolio going forward. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, let's go to item H. Discussion and take action on reviewing the current arrangement between the City of Castroville United Football Club for use of the Lions Park soccer fields and provide council an opportunity to discuss the agreement and future use of the fields. Ms. Solis.
Yes, so as council may remember, last council meeting, I did bring up the 4 areas that I would like to address in the Parks and Recs area. One of those is the user agreement from United Football Club for the use of Lions Park soccer fields. That user agreement had expired in 2024. I am just giving situational awareness to it. I'm not asking for a formal discussion or action requested, but I think it's worth noting that the public should be aware that there is opportunity for other organizations to use the soccer fields, as there's no current user agreement specifically for one certain organization. And that's all I have.
Okay, and I agree because I'm not aware unless we have our other youth soccer that we've actually committed the use of things to it. That's interesting in how they get money. Does anybody have any questions on this?
I do.
Yes.
We don't have an agreement, but is it being used?
It is.
Are we being paid for the use of?
Not that I'm aware of. But Jonah looks like he would like to
Oh.
say something.
If it's okay with mayor and council.
Sure, go right ahead.
Yes, so the agreement was originally talked about in 2024. That agreement was never executed. However, the Castroville United Soccer Club has been using the fields there at Lions Park. They've not necessarily paid for the usage of those particular fields.
Yep.
However, they have been donating back services and funds. And I'm not saying that this is kind of one of those deals where, hey, you give us this money, we give you this money. I do have a letter from them that I'd like to give out to council, and council can read it. I'll also share it with Leroy that I received earlier today. But going back onto the contract, we have reached out to the Castroville United. They have been communicating they are willing to and would like to continue use of those fields with a contract in place. And again, they're not looking for any type of special treatment, any type of discounts or anything like that, but they would like council to be also made aware of some of the contributions that they've made, not just at this park, but at some of the other parks.
I have a lot to say to that. Go ahead, Mayor.
I'll take their letter, and I'd be interested in any written proposal they would like to provide to the city for consideration. Let it go on that. Then the city council can make an informed decision on the use of our facilities.
Yes, that was gonna be my point, Mayor, was that that's probably another future.
Right,
agenda
it would
item,
be, it
not
would be.
this one.
Yes, ma'am. And I believe the organizations, whether it be this one or anyone else, unless we have clear rules and regulations, that each organization provide us what their proposals are, and then we can go from there.
And Jonah, I know you're specifically addressed to this, but I wanna make sure that you're making sure that Leroy is also on correspondence.
Correct.
Yeah, because looking at this packet, I see some other history and that needs to be discussed, so. But that's all I have for situational awareness
Okay.
for this agenda item.
Thank you. I believe, okay, that was a discussion item, right? Well, it says discussion and action, so is there any action to be taken?
No action.
No. Thank you. Let's move to item.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Let's move to item I, which is actually discussion action on updating the 2026 comprehensive fee schedule with the inclusion of the soccer fields at Lions Park.
Yes.
Ms. Solis?
So the omission of the athletic fields for Lions Park, is not on the current comprehensive fee list. It has not been on the current, or on the comprehensive fee list since 2023. So I'm just asking council to adopt in ensuring that the athletic fields are on the comprehensive fee list for this year, that mirror the same structure of the athletic fields at Regional Park. That's what.
I'll motion. Ready?
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Recommend approval to amend the FY 2026 comprehensive fee schedule to add the Lions Park soccer field under Lions Park and apply the existing athletic field fee currently established for Regional Park.
I'll second.
I win.
It's in my district. No.
We're gonna take, Ms. Martinez, you seconded that, motion made second. I heard her voice.
It's in my district.
We'll let Houston have it in
All right,
his district.
Mr. Marchman, we'll move the second to Mr. Marchman. Mr. Chip, Mr. Marchman. Is there any further discussion?
I just have something to say. Go ahead. Go
Okay,
ahead.
yeah, so, have we asked if there's any reason that it hasn't been included in the past? Is it an oversight or is there something intentional?
I don't know if it's intentional, but I think previous discussions with staff is just been an oversight.
Yes, yeah, I think that's really the biggest thing, just an oversight and then also just the development of that property. Because that property's been developed so quickly, is just one of those things.
Okay, that makes sense, thank you.
Any further discussion?
So, Jonah, the biggest thing I have on it is the importance of consistency with what we do
Yes,
in any of our parks.
absolutely.
And so, we're just looking at making this consistent because I appreciate this that you gave us, but this is a lot when it comes to trying to make some sort of agreement with
Sure.
anybody for our real estate.
Mhm.
It's got to be the same, and it's got to be fair, and it's got to be equitable to everybody.
Agreed. And that's
So-
that's one thing that, definitely one thing we're trying to strive for is just making sure that we're the same across the board.
Okay. That's it.
All right, I have a motion and a second to amend the 2026 comprehensive fee schedule to add the Lions Park soccer fields under Lions Park and apply the existing athletic field fee currently established for regional park. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Thank you.
All right. Let's move over here to the city administrator's report. Y'all have it in writing?
Yep.
And I would ask that unless there's something that maybe I can help you with, which probably not, but I might.
I got one question for you, Mayor.
Go ahead.
So you know how we identified city vehicles that are missing either the logo and or department
Uh-huh.
on them? Do we
Uh-huh.
have an ETA when that's gonna get fixed?
I'm not sure. I know that, that's an item that's been pointed out to the Director of Public Works. And I know the city administrator is dealing with those issues.
Okay, that's all I need. That's my only question.
Understanding that obviously the Texas law requires
Yeah.
they have to be, the owner has to be on them, the department has to be on them,
Yeah.
and it has to be visible within 100 feet.
I count them as they go past the store.
Okay.
I'm sure they'll have an update by next.
I would just hate to make this comment, but that ETA is gone at this point. We're beyond. That needs to get done.
I will address that with the city administrator.
Okay.
Anything else?
No.
Okay, let's go to the city council liaison reports. Airport Advisory Board, Ms. Martinez.
All right, we met on the 4th of August with our new airport manager, David Ortega. They decided to hold nomination for board members. Kirby is staying as the secretary for the board. They decided to table the decision for chair and co-chair until the next meeting. That way we could get another warm body in the seat to make a decision.
Before you go to anything else, let me ask you a question, just because you brought it up, the airport board meeting, so I'll just bring it up in whole. You know, under an ordinance, the only board by ordinance that the city council chooses the chairperson on is the HLC.
Okay.
City council chooses the chairman of that. And it says, just for thought, what if the city council chose the chairman of all the advisory boards? Just a thought. Go on.
But the airport manager is working on improving tracking of improvements and projects for around the airport. He's key to improve the communication between the airport board and council, and start looking at the grant projects through the FAA and everything for their projects of what they want for their priorities. He has also started the training course with, was it not K-Freeze? What's their name now? Lochner? With Lochner, David Kirkpatrick. And so he's learning everything possible out there, which he says is very, very helpful. The brass hangar, there's still no updates. They're still waiting to hear from FAA of whether or not their plans or anything have been approved. And that's about it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Uh-huh.
Parks and Recreation Advisory Board, Councilman Shipp, which I know you were absent, so let's go to Councilwoman
I
Solis.
sat in on that one. They spoke about the parkland dedication ordinance. Spent about an hour discussing that. Did a very good job. They're fleshing it out as they go. There's a lot of research that's involved in it, and they're doing a phenomenal job.
Wonderful. Thank you. Let's go to Planning and Zoning Commission, Councilwoman
That's
Solis.
me too.
Yes, ma'am. You're not going to get either.
They too went over the parkland dedication
Okay.
as well. And then of course 2 chapters of the signage ordinance as well to review. It's about a 45-minute meeting. Nothing major came out of it, but.
Okay. Works good.
Mhm.
Okay. Library Advisory Board, Ms. Shawna, you
We're
know
not
me?
dead yet.
No,
Not
not,
dead yet.
not there.
So, there was not, there was not a meeting for August. However,
Okay.
I'm working with the staff and we are doing a recruitment push. So it sounds like that's helping to turn things around.
Good.
So, and not for nothing, to follow up on your throwing that line out there, I think it would be a really interesting conversation to talk about the pros and potentially some cons of council selection of board leadership. I think that would be a worthwhile conversation.
Yeah, like you say, there's pros and cons both ways, but it'd be something worth talking about. Thank you very much for that.
Which, by the way, on the library board, unfortunately, and we'll put it on the next one, the chairperson had to resign.
Oh, no.
Yeah, she had some surgery, and so she's going to have some medical things done, and so hopefully she'll get to come back. Yeah, and but there's at least they still have 3,
Okay.
and so they're going to have a meeting, from my understanding, next month or this coming. But hopefully they're pushing to find some more folks.
All right.
So
Well, good luck with that.
yeah.
Historic Landmark Commission, Mr. Marchman.
Yes, sir. We met on August 18th. We had a little business doing the initial, Kyle McVeigh. Ms. Kyle McVeigh was named last year. And then Marchman was named secretary.
Okay.
5B, the house was built in 22. There was a pool. Putting it, it's in the historic district. That's why it came for HSC. It was approved. But then it's interesting, in the next 2 bullets that I have are going to tie together. There's a couple on 1616 Mexico Street that had asked for, which is in the historic district, that asked for to be able to put a fence in the front yard, a chain link fence. It's a non-contributing home, meaning it's not historic. And their neighbors are renters who have pit bulls, and seems the owner of the house got attacked in his front yard. So they were trying to get some sort of fence in the front. And what this presented to HOC is challenging in the context that since we went from the 96 buildings historic to a historical district, we have not updated our design guidelines to reflect how we treat non-contributing or non-historic versus historic. And so that creates a challenge, and it forces people into making decisions. And this I would like to bring to council for discussion at a future date in as an agenda item, hopefully for some direction. But the other piece of this is that over a year ago, staff was given direction to begin looking at other historic cities, Phillipsburg, Bernie, places like that have their codes built because, budgets are tight, and to mimic, or I would use the word plagiarize, what their codes are to do to help us incorporate non-contributing and a historic district versus just 96 structures. And that's, again, this whole issue I would like to bring to council as soon as possible for this.
Okay, I don't have a problem with that. I want to echo the little bit that I watched, and I wasn't there, but just watched. And they have a tough road to haul because they have an ordinance they're following by in the historic district. But it is a challenge when you have registered historic structures and you have structures that are not a registered historic structure, but being held to the same standard.
Yes.
So it becomes a challenge. So it's something that I think we need to talk about. Anything else, sir?
That's the meat. No, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you all very much for these reports. We're going to move to item 15, which is the discussion of future agenda items. And I'm going to ask y'all, please let me know if you want an agenda item. Also, I would like for y'all to, we talked briefly about it, just, I think we need to get with a lot of things going on, try to schedule some days for some workshops. I think Tuesday afternoons are not good or good.
Mornings are terrible.
Tuesday afternoons after 3
Yes.
would be good, kind of like we've been doing. I do think the workshop setting is beneficial to us because it allows us an opportunity in a less formal atmosphere to talk about things. Because otherwise, we can't sit and talk about things as a body outside of a posted agenda. So I think workshops are nice, but y'all give us some ideas on any things you want to talk about. I mean, I'm open.
Yes.
So we can try to resolve not resolve, we can flush out things so we can come and be more efficient at the meetings, so to speak. So if you have some thoughts on that, just shoot them by me and we can start scheduling some things going from there. Anybody have anything else?
I do.
Oh, Deborah first.
The only thing is, with the holiday coming up, it's gonna be Labor Day, I have to post, I wanna say the latest is the 1st.
I understand.
So if anybody has something, I need it,
I do.
like,
Yeah, because Labor Day is the 7th and the meeting is on the 8th. So
Yes.
you lose a day, so she has to post on a Tuesday.
and I plan to be out of town that weekend, so if I can get everything
Right.
together, it'd be great.
So
I have to do
that's
it
what
first.
shortens things up when you have a
Yes.
holiday.
It'd be quick.
Yes, ma'am.
And just to follow up.
Yes, ma'am.
I would like to request that on the next agenda, we can do a memorandum of understanding with Nippy Tuck to flesh out that
I'll
situation.
put that on the next one, okay? And we can talk about that. Sure. Anything else? Not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
He's gonna let me know.
Motion made and seconded to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
This meeting is over at 7:16 PM.